It's waiting.
Don't you love this?
Yeah,
And we got a lot more of this coming in the fall.
I know. I know.
That new
Okay.
Schoology platform is gonna be interesting.
More things for us to learn, right?
Yes, sir.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kenny Clevenger. This is a project for IL 650 at Jacksonville State University, and I'm here with Tracy Cross, uh, one of the curriculum directors for Etowah County. And Ms. Cross, we're just going to get started real quick. I've got a few questions for you and let you talk a little bit about curriculum.
Okay.
Um, the first question is, how do we integrate curriculum both horizontally and vertically in our system?
Well, we do, the schools do a lot of the horizontal themselves. They may have, it's according to how many they have in a school. Like we have some schools that are very large, some that are very small. Now we do at certain times with the math course of study being implemented this coming year. We're going to implement that in seventh grade, and we're going to in ninth grade with geometry, and then both regular seventh and the advanced seventh. We have been doing a lot of horizontal there, trying to get the teachers ready. Um, and then vertical, we will do, and Kenny, you've done a lot for us with English, where we'll bring in all the English teachers and we'll try to hit something that we can use. Usually we'll do secondary, we'll do like grade 7 through 12. And we'll try to do some things so that there's some seamless transition from year to year for the students, and we're not missing any of the content or any of the standards that need to be met.
That's one of the great things about Etowah County is that we do work together so well, and we do. I think you guys at the central office level do a great job of facilitating that vertical alignment and getting the schools ready to do the kind of horizontal things that we try to do.
Right.
So that
Well, and
is
we have 21 schools, and it can be tough, but all of our schools are so giving. I've got teachers and administrators in every school that are willing to step in and help. I feel that information coming from me is not as valid as coming from a teacher that's in the trenches doing it at that time. That's just how I
that
feel about it.
that's a really good point, and it validates what those teachers are feeling a lot of the time.
Yes.
Um, Another question that I had for you is how teachers are involved in curriculum decisions. So, since you mentioned teachers, how do we involve teachers on the curriculum level?
Well, whenever there's a new adoption of a course of study, of course, teachers are on the textbook committee. We have some teachers that are on the state level that are involved with writing the standards and writing the curriculum. And so we do that a lot. When at the central office, we started last year with a new plan. Continuous plan for the central office, and we involve teachers from every school, uh, different levels of teachers. They may have been a special ed teacher, they may have been an EL teacher. We try to get them all involved with what we're doing, so it's not just me or those here at the central office deciding what's best for this system. We feel like getting feedback from everyone makes it better. It makes it something that everyone will buy into. And that's the same thing when it comes to curriculum, when we're trying to decide what we're going to do there. A lot of it comes from the State Department. I'll just be honest with you. We get, when it comes to adopting textbooks, they'll send us a list of textbooks that we can adopt. It's not like we can go off and get our own, but then we have to have it approved by the State Department, and that's like jumping through hoops. So we usually just follow their recommendations on that.
Right. Um, in terms of instructional programs or activities, I know Dr. Cosby was talking earlier today about the fact that we're going to be moving to a new virtual platform. Are
Yes.
there things that you do as the director to assess those kind of programs for the system?
Well, not the programs that are being mandated by the state. He is correct. We have, this year's going to be like nothing we've ever experienced, just like shutting down last year was like nothing we've ever experienced. What's coming from the state, and I call it canned courses. You teach access, I teach access, so it's kind of what we're going to be doing. The only difference is that in access, we're more of the facilitator at home where we're grading and corresponding. What's coming from the state is going to be content that's going to be taught by a teacher in the school. So that's going to be different. They can put their own information into it. Now, that's what we've been told at this point. That could change by 12 o'clock today. But you know how that goes. But
Yeah,
yes, we do look at what we're doing in the schools. A couple of years ago, we created end of course exams for all of our high school courses. And those were created by the teachers we brought them all together. We gave every school an option of sending teachers for every course that they teach. And then we took all those teachers from the 6 high schools and they created these courses of study in Scantron achievement. And so that's a way that we can kind of measure what's going on from school to school to school. My whole thing is, we've got some huge, not huge, but big schools. I've got some tiny schools that might only have 50 seniors in it. And I want to make sure that every child in every one of our schools is getting what they need to move to the next level.
absolutely. Um, what are some, let's see, next question on my list, and I think we kind of touched on that a little bit, is how does the director use diagnostic tools to assess and identify and support instructional improvement?
Right.
So, what are some of the things for improvement that we've used in our system?
The biggest thing we bought last year was Scantron Analytics, and that is a program from Scantron, and it allows us to analyze every exam we give from kindergarten through seniors taking the ACT. And at the district level, we can pull up every senior in the system and see how we're doing. If we want to break it down to just the ACT math, we can just pull that up. If we want to break it down to just our special ed students, which is huge when you're talking about accountability, we can break it down to special ed, we can break it down to EL, and we can use that tool to determine, and it breaks ACT not so much, but when we get a state assessment, the ones we've used in the past, we can break it down to what standards the system is missing. And before that, I put it in spreadsheets, and it was very large. And so analytics has helped me. But we can look at the state report cards. The schools themselves, they give universal screeners through 8th grade. We use it 3 times a year, and so we can see what's missing. Kind of, it's not in real time, but it's in enough real time that's not a year in arrears. And our system as a whole, for the last couple of years, we've been focusing on math, and especially
Mhm.
special ed math. That's where we're really lacking at this moment.
Right. Um, and hopefully, we're going to make some strides forward there in the next couple of years. I think it's hard right now because we didn't get to have some of those tests at the end of the
Yes.
year this
Hmm.
past school year. So it will be different, but
It will.
it's a good thing that our system at least is on the front end of Scantron, or at least really involved with the Scantron programs. We kind of
Right.
know how to do a lot of that stuff.
Right. Right. And we trained all of our administrators on it. We actually did a PLU with it last year, and we also trained teachers. This year, with
Mhm.
all the craziness that we anticipate, we're not going to have the teachers doing it. Um, we just think they're going to have their plates full. So
Mhm.
we've dropped back down to central office, instructional partners, administrators, that type of thing.
My next question talks about technology, which we were kind of going toward anyway. Has
Yeah.
technology and the transition to online or virtual learning been a catalyst for curriculum change?
No doubt. I told back in the spring, because you were on, I think we Zoomed every day, 3 or 4 times a day, everybody. And I said the shutdown has moved the state of Alabama forward, probably, I would say 10 years, but probably 20 years when it comes to online instruction, because it made us do it. And our teachers in Etowah County, I think, were fabulous. Some of the classes I sat in on, I mean, they are so creative. And yes, I think when it comes to curriculum, online is going to be the way this coming year. Parents will have the option of doing coming to brick and mortar, doing a blended, or doing an online. And now it's not going to be like we have a virtual school here for Etowah County. It's not going to be like that. It'll be totally different. It'll be coming through this Schoology and not through Access, is who we use for our online virtual. So yeah, I think this year is going to be very interesting, and I think it's going to make a lot of teachers have to move forward. I do.
Absolutely. I think there's no other way to go except that.
Except
Uh,
retire, like
yeah,
me.
yeah. Either figure out the tech or stop.
Yeah, yeah.
The last question I have for you is what are some factors that interfere with achieving goals and objectives? Um, as a system, what are some things that stand in our way?
Um, we're not a lot. Most of our teachers are on board with the things we do. I always say the greatest asset to moving curriculum forward for a school is the principal. I mean, if you do not have a principal that is a principal that is willing to move curriculum forward and move their school forward, the teachers aren't going to do it. They're not going to do it for me. I mean, because I'm not in that school with them every day. It's got to be that principal. It's got to be those administrators that are about achievement for those students. And I for one, and I know people get tired of me saying this. This is kind of my quote, and I'm a huge sports fan. But if you look at our system, the percentage of students to get academic scholarships or even career tech scholarships versus football, I would say, and this is being generous, 98% of our students get academic and or career tech going on and finishing their 2-year degree at Gadsden State. And so I feel like every child deserves to have the opportunity. And I feel like if those principals don't push the teachers aren't going to do it. Now, there's some teachers that have this intrinsic value and they'll just do it, even if they don't have a principal that's pushing them. And by and large, we have fabulous administrators. Um, and there's some, just like with anything, just like with teachers, you have some teachers that just won't come on and jump on board. But I heard a quote, it's back when I was at Rainbow Middle, that, take your teachers that will and push them because they will. And and give them accolades, praise them, and hopefully the others will come on board. And if they don't, just
Mhm.
leave them and try to do the least amount of harm with students you can that you put in their classroom. So, that's about all you can do.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you being here today, Miss Cross, and I know you've got a busy day ahead of you, so I'm not going to take up any more of your time. But I appreciate anyone who's out there watching, and I hope you got something out of this. Thank you for all that you've shared with us about curriculum in Etowah County, Miss Cross.
All right.
All
Bye,
right.
Kenny.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya.